Hey guys, CreamCrazy here, welcoming you to my Royal Rumble 2014 results and opinions video now. What a controversial pay-per-view this has been, huh? I mean, I've never seen fans crap on a pay-per-view since Survivor Series, actually, believe it or not. Fact of the matter is, guys, this crowd reception and fan reception alike, I can tell that some of you may not be too happy with some of the opinions I'm going to put out on this video, but who really cares? Let's go on with the results of the pay-per-view then, shall we? We've got a surprise in the pre-show with the New Age Outlaws defeating Cody Rhodes and Goldust to win the WWE Tag Team Championships with a famouser after Billy Gunn tagged Road Dogg in with Cody Rhodes not seeing the tag. Quite ingenious for a tweener team to do that, but who cares? Bray Wyatt then defeated Daniel Bryan in what was the match of the night, hitting a Sister Abigail into the barricade, followed by one in the ring. Brock Lesnar, with Paul Heyman at his side, defeated Big Show in, I don't even know if you can call it a match. I mean, the bell rang, so we can kind of call it something. And it was through an F5 getting the victory. Randy Orton then defeated John Cena to retain the WWE World Heavyweight Championship in a match with one of the funniest crowd reactions I've ever seen in my life. And it was after a RKO following the Wyatts coming out, which we were a bit interested about. I tell you that now. And finally, the main event, the Royal Rumble match, Batista, number 28, last eliminated Roman Reigns at number 15 to win the match and get a championship shot at WrestleMania 30. So, Batista is going to be main eventing Mania. Really? Personally, I do not think so. I'll get to that later. First, we're going to start off with the in-depth results. And of course, if you have not seen one of my vids before, you want to know how things go, I have a little few rating factors to decide my opinion on what the match is like. And it goes like this. Psychology, meaning the working and selling of body parts and the telling of the overall story of the feud. Move variety, meaning if it's different from what the hell they usually do and adds a bit of extra spice to the match. Crowd reaction, obviously. Match length and pacing, highlighting the actual flow of the overall match and just however the match went, and whether it was good enough. And then finally, my own enjoyment. So, yeah, that's pretty obvious to say, isn't it? First off, Bryan versus Wyatt, obviously. I had a feeling this would open the evening, and it did. Psychology was a 4. And it was simple why. These two ripped the absolute ever-loving crap out of each other. The intensity and the desire to basically do what I just said was all the way through. The aggression was stunning. And I mean it was stunning. These guys ripped each other apart and then some. Overall, good working and working of that leg, first of all, by Bryan. I mean, it was bloody good. And Wyatt was selling it to hell and back. One problem about that, though, is as Bray did get offense later on in the match, he didn't sell it. And that disappointed me, as well as disappointing quite a lot of people in the building, especially Mark Pearson, who, thanks to a laptop crash, unfortunately missed the match. So, at least I know, with that psychology in tow, you will be happy with that one. And overall, the one thing I just like about this is that overall the momentum of the match did help it. I mean, Bryan got some offense in. Wyatt then got some offense, and it then played out. It was good that these two see each other as equals physically, even though, of course, one is bigger than the other, and cause much more impact. The working on the concussion, though, the working on the head, that just made it. I mean, sure, the leg was all good, but working on the head, hitting those massive clotheslines, hitting the damn knee into the head into the ring post, then having Daniel Bryan avoid purposely doing the headbutt, hitting a big splash instead, and then, of course, you got the Sister Abigail on the barricade at the end. What do I have to say? I mean, the only thing that really stopped me was the fact that Bray didn't sell, and the fact that when the arm was hit on the apron by Bryan, when Bryan's arm was hit on the apron, I really thought they were going to work that a bit more. Didn't really go anywhere. I mean, they could have added the arm as well as the head to this entire thing. It could have been made a little bit more interesting. However, that wasn't the case, and yeah, it only gets a 4. I mean, it's nitpicking, but I'll do what I can with it, though. Move variety was a 2. I mean, there was a nice tornado DDT from the apron to the outside by Bryan, which I loved. There's, of course, the Sister Abigail into the barricade, which added a nice little shock to things. And, yeah, it's just... there were big moves. Oh, and that inside flip clothesline was just lovely. I mean, apart from that, there wasn't much else. I mean, it was minimal, but as they were big impact, big time moves, I couldn't put a foot wrong. It did its purpose right. Crowd reaction was a 4. Can't go wrong with the crowd here. It took him a little bit of time. Okay, sure, they were going Daniel Bryan, yes, chance all the way through. At times they mediated out when offense from Wyatt was in place. I'm fine with that. I'm not too fussed. However, I mean, overall, while the crowd were great for it, they just kind of died whenever Daniel Bryan wasn't in any form of control, and that annoyed me, because Bray Wyatt is a damn good worker. You know, I wouldn't think of him as a person who people would think, oh, do we care? No, we don't care about him. People should care about Bray Wyatt, and I'm happy that they at least do now that he's attacked Cena, so there you go. Match like the pacing was a 3.5. I liked the fact there was some good alternating offense earlier on, and by the end, it became a slow, well-built-up momentum shift between the two guys. You had Bray go on the offense for a while, then you had Daniel go on the offense for a while, and it just shifted gradually over time between the two, and it made the match flow really nicely. And it went over 20 minutes, for God's sake. It was what we were expecting in length, and it worked. I mean, I don't know why I'm giving it a 3.5, mostly because if it was on many other pay-per-views, for example, if the match was inside a cage, it would have gone on longer. If it was inside Hell in a Cell, it would have gone on longer. You know, if the match, hell, even seeing the bloody Rowan and Harper removed, they could have easily knocked out the referee, hit some damage on Bryan, leading to a miraculous comeback which gets halted. You know, that could have made the match go on even longer. Now, even though I enjoyed the hell out of this match, giving it a 4.5 out of my enjoyment rating, I really have to say this match could have been a bit longer, a little bit longer. Hell, it could have even been for a championship for all I care, but unfortunately it wasn't, and that's just what we're going to have to damn well live with. I mean, overall, like I've said, the only thing that really pissed me off was the no-selling of the leg injury, and hell, even in the I forgot to mention this, even in the spider walk, Wyatt didn't even sell it, so there. Honestly, though, this match got me gripped, okay? It got me gripped, it told a story, the crowd were into it, and you know what? JR was right. You know, this match, nothing topped this. Nothing came remotely close. This match was the match of the night, bar none. It was the most entertaining match of the night, bar none. This, ladies and gentlemen, shows everybody why the hell I like pro wrestling and why you all do as well. It told a story, it was entertaining, it was physical, the crowd were inside everything, and it had two wrestlers who we all give a crap about wrestling in the ring. And it adds another to the list of opening Rumble matches that are brilliant. Schleg Daddy, you can take that one to the bank, I am certain. Ladies and gentlemen, I am giving my first 4-star rated match of the year 4.5 stars here. This is the reason why I'm happy that this actually got done. I am pleased this match was put on the card for this purpose. And I'm so happy to say 4.5 stars tonight. And you couldn't have started the pay-per-view year off better. Trust me, you couldn't have. Right. Oh man, now we get to Lesnar Big Show. This was interesting because basically all it was Big Show being beaten up with a steel chair the entire way through. But you know what? I've got to give the psychology something here, because people may say there's no story in this match, but think about it. Lesnar got creeped the fuck out by Big Show in the weeks leading up to this show. Therefore, coming into this, he wanted to exact his revenge in the most brutal way possible, and he did it. Do I even really need to say much more? He did exactly what the story told itself to do, and I'm happy with that. Sure, it was unrealistic as hell to see Big Show get beaten up so much, to then get one adrenaline comeback and hit one punch to knock Lesnar down. That was an annoyance. I could have done without that. I could have done without Big Show getting any offense at all. I could have seen him getting his ass kicked in, and then have an F5 and end it. It would have been much better. Move variety and crowd reaction are pretty much non-existent at this point. I don't really have to care about it that much at all. Match length and pacing, I'll give it a 1.5 because it was short, sweet, and to be honest with you, that was exactly what I was expecting. I didn't think this match would last very long because of what I've just mentioned about the story. It didn't matter. And, overall, the match length, it was in about, what, 5 minutes, 6 minutes, roughly? I mean, it was a bit longer than I wanted, but it was at least not too long? I mean, it wasn't Orton Big Show long from Survivor Series, but yeah. That was really kind of funny. And overall, my enjoyment of this, I really didn't enjoy this. I mean, even though I expected the result, and expected the length, and expected the story, I couldn't invest in it. Because WWE were hyping this up like there was no end, and I just couldn't get in. I couldn't crack open the eggshell of hype and feast on the yolk within, you know. I couldn't do that. And I don't know why. Maybe it's because they made us believe that Big Show was making Lesnar afraid. I mean, that was the one thing I couldn't get behind. And it's happened again. Honestly, though, the only thing that really got me was the F5, you know. That was the one thing that really made it. I mean, the ending was just over the top and ridiculous. The match didn't have anything really, minus one bit of story which I expected, and a bit of time shortage which I wanted, and we got. You know, there's nothing really in this match at all that makes me go, you know what, I'm going to be lenient. You know, this match, to me, is an absolute dud. It's a 0. I'm sorry. I know I've said some positive things, but unfortunately for me, there is no positive to a match which had nothing but one tiny bit of storyline significance. I'm sorry, folks. I mean, some people like the storytelling elements, and I love the storytelling elements, but you may be nice and give it maybe a 2, maybe I would even say half a star maybe out of convenience, but to me, as the whole match technically didn't start for half of its duration and runtime, I couldn't give it any significance, you know? Overall, 0. Orton versus Cena. Now this match should have and probably would have been something. And I'm not saying anything spectacular. I'm just saying it would have been something. However, the crowd reaction, getting a 3 for absolutely shitting on this match. And let me tell you, the 3 is because I enjoyed that. The problem is, it also counts against the match, because it proves the crowd did not give a flying fuck what was going on in that ring. They were chanting Daniel Bryan, Y2J, Randy Savage, Undertaker. Boring, this is awful, we want divas and we want refunds and all of that. And, you know, even though this was a good thing in showing our displeasure, it really impacted the match. It really did, and it made every single bit of interest suck itself out. The same thing happened at Survivor Series, the same thing happening here. This, ladies and gentlemen, is the crowd voicing their displeasure, and I, for one, was not interested in this either. My mantra is normally, if the crowd aren't interested in this match, neither am I. That's my mantra, and I'm sticking by it. However, there is some good things in this match. Psychology was a 1.5. I like this because of the physicality of it all. I mean, honestly, this had some decent storytelling. These guys were trying to beat the crap out of each other and prove who is better. And also the psychology of the Wyatt family coming in and setting up a new story. And why are they doing this? You know, it gives the impression that, well, Orton felt for weeks and weeks and weeks on end he had no one covering his back. And then, wow, the Wyatt family's coming. Wow, he's actually got some cover after all. There's reassurance for Randy Orton. And, you know, that's kind of interesting to find that resolution tied up in a nice, cute little bow. And you know what? I'm going to keep that. It's a 1.5. I'm going to keep it. It's little, but it's something. Move variety. There's a 1.5 here, mostly due to the fact that these guys spent most of the last 5 to 10 minutes hitting their own flippin' finishers and kicking out of them. Randy Orton put a better STF on Cena than Cena's put on anyone else. I mean, look at this. This was quite enjoyable. The last 5 minutes were the bloody best part of the match. And it got people excited. I mean, don't need to say much more. I mean, Orton's DDT out of the AA early on was lovely as well. I mean, I've got to say this. The move variety may not have been much, but it was something. And even though the match went on long, as it usually did, but the pacing of it was so disjointed. You know, the match was just so, the crowd disjointed the entire flow of the match. It wasn't free-flowing, it stalled repeatedly, and it went on, I have to admit, it went on a right amount of time, but it just, like I said, the pacing of it made it look like it lasted forever. The crowd impacted the flow, and it was made to look absolutely awful. And that's why I gave it a 1. Because even though it went the right length that it should have done, it didn't feel good. Because nothing was being told, there was very little story, and there was very little reason for us to care, which made the match even worse. And we then get to my enjoyment of it, guys. I've already mentioned, if the crowd aren't interested, neither am I. And honestly, the amount of tweets I put out there, including I'm now going to call this my most famous, my best tweet of the Holy Wyatts, it's the fuck family, which is probably one of the best tweets I've ever put out. Honestly, I didn't care for this match, neither did you guys, but I have to give credit where credit's due. Unlike Lesnar Big Show, this match actually was a match and did last a good length of time, and it actually had something. I'm going to be nice to Orton and Cena. I feel sorry for them, actually. Because even though the crowd were right to voice their displeasure with a match they didn't want to see, these guys still went out there and worked. And I've got to give them plaudits as a fan of wrestlers and wrestling in general. You know, I'm going to give you 1/4 of a star. 1/4 of a star, you two. Orton and Cena, for your work rate tonight. For your ability to just still put on a match, even with the crowd doing what they do, and try to make something out of it. That's all well and good for me. I'm going to be blunt and honest here, folks. I don't want to be, but I'm going to have to be. Okay, now, ladies and gentlemen, we have the Royal Rumble match. This is a little more interesting for all involved. Now, how am I going to do this? Because this is a bit different. Usually, you'd think that I stick with my ratings factors. No, I have actually got a new set of rating factors for you guys, and this is as follows. Match length and pacing, obviously for knowing how long the Rumble match goes and how well it's paced out between eliminations. Number 2 is surprise entrance. It says a lot. Number 3, elimination variety. And of course, we've got the original, crowd reaction and enjoyment, so this is going to be awesome. Right, let's take it out in order of how they entered. CM Punk obviously entering at number 1, with Seth Rollins coming in at number 2, Damien Sandow number 3, Cody Rhodes number 4, Kane, surprising the crap out of most of us, at number 5, Alexander Rusev from NXT coming in at number 6, Swagger number 7, Kingston number 8, Jimmy Uso number 9, Goldust number 10, rounding out the first third, with Dean Ambrose number 11, Dolph Ziggler number 12, surprisingly, despite the fact I thought he was out with a fucking concussion. 13 is R-Truth, 14 is Kevin Nash, 15 Roman Reigns, Great Khali number 16, Sheamus making a return at number 17, The Miz at number 18, Fandango at number 19, shockingly, El Torito of Los Matadors at number 20, number 21, Antonio Cesaro, number 22, Luke Harper, number 23, Jey Uso, number 24, JBL, surprisingly, because obviously he hadn't been in the Rumble as JBL, and also not to mention the fact that, importantly, he, as a commentator, as the other guys have been in before, it makes valid sense. Eric Rowan for number 25, Ryback for number 26, Alberto Del Rio for number 27, Batista for 28, Biggie Langston for 29, and Rey Mysterio for 30. Makes valid sense, I guess. Am I right, folks? I hope I'm right, because it makes some sense to think that to say how they got eliminated. Number 1 was Damien Sandow by CM Punk. Number 2, Kane by CM Punk. Alexander Rusev, number 3 by Rhodes, Punk, Kingston, and Rollins. R-Truth, number 4 by Dean Ambrose, with Jimmy Uso following by Dean Ambrose 2. Jack Swagger, number 6 by Kevin Nash. And, oh good god, Kingston, Ziggler, Nash, and Khali all eliminated by Roman Reigns. Cody Rhodes then got eliminated by Goldust accidentally, and Goldust then got thrown over by Reigns. Fandango then got eliminated comically by El Torito, and with then having El Torito chucked out by Reigns. JBL then got chucked out by Reigns while trying to hand his jacket to Cole. We then see The Miz eliminated by Harper with Jey Uso following. Eric Rowan was eliminated by Batista, as well as Ryback and Alberto Del Rio. Sheamus then eliminated Biggie Langston. Rey Mysterio was then eliminated by Seth Rollins. Luke Harper, Antonio Cesaro, Dean Ambrose, Seth Rollins, all eliminated by Roman Reigns. He took the Shield out with him. Kane came back in and took CM Punk out of the match. Roman Reigns then took out Sheamus, with last 2, Reigns being eliminated by Batista to get Batista the victory. Now, this match is kind of interesting. Why is it interesting, you may be asking me? Well, let me tell you. Let me tell you this. Match length and pacing was a 3. Now, honestly, the match went at 55 minutes, roughly, I'm saying. And as usual, I've come to expect that that's the traditional runtime of a Royal Rumble. It makes valid sense to me, at least, anyway. Honestly, that's all well and good. The pacing of the match was all good too. I mean, we saw big chunks of people not being eliminated for a while. But compared to last year, it just felt like you were waiting for the big guys. Okay, sure, you saw a few surprise guys, but look at this. We had big times where the crowd just died through this. That's not good. You know, if nothing's happening, that doesn't make a good sign, does it? I mean, the pacing of the overall match was good, but by the end of it, we're just thinking, really? I mean, the length was good too. I've got to give it credit. Surprise entrance, a 1.5. I would have given this more if some bigger names were in here. Now, Kevin Nash returning, I've got to admit, I marked a little bit for that. Seeing he had his hair dyed a better colour this time round. Honestly, though, El Torito was a surprise. I've got to give him the credit for that. I did not see that coming. And JBL, I would have liked to see him more. And I've got to give Kane credit too. I never saw him coming in a million years. I had a feeling one person was going to come in, like the New Age Outlaws or something, but not Kane. Alexander Rusev should have been announced beforehand. They should have had a Battle Royal like last year for NXT. I'm just pointing that out there, folks. Just pointing it out. Overall, surprise entrants weren't that good. And especially looking at the last year we've had or so, it was kind of shocking, to say the least. Elimination variety was a 1.5. Now, there were a few little moments. I mean, sure, we had Kane take Punk out spectacularly. We had Kofi Kingston's save after Rusev got eliminated, which is a fantastic moment in itself. We saw the massive elimination of Cesaro and The Shield, which was fucking brilliant, if I were to say so myself. I'm just kind of thinking, though, apart from a few eliminations, there wasn't much. There really wasn't. I mean, Reigns throwing Kingston out of the damn thing, seeing him throw El Torito out of such power, too. I mean, Reigns just tore things apart. He tore things apart. Crowd reaction, 3.5. The crowd were really into this for a little while, but like most years, a couple of guys come out and it dips. But the one thing that stops this from getting high is that, again, most of the times in this match, when there was no eliminations happening for ages, the crowd just went dead silent. And that, to me, is bad. That, to me, is bad beyond belief. But you know what made this worse? You know, I'm happy the crowd shat over the ending when Bryan didn't come out. I was happy with that. But honestly, it really detracted from the end. Because the Royal Rumble match, ladies and gentlemen, is an event of high drama. You give a crap about that Rumble match, the Final Four. You care about who is going to WrestleMania. And the fact that that crowd didn't give a flying crap about who was in that Rumble. The fact of the matter is, shortly after he got the Final Four, Punk then got eliminated, which made the crowd even more restless. Roman Reigns then picked things up, looked like he was going to win, the crowd picked up a little bit more, and then Batista threw him out and they crapped on it. I mean, I'm not slagging the crowd, I'm just saying that even though I agree with them, in terms of the overall feel of the match, what I'm looking at here, from an analytical perspective, it really put a damper on it. Really did, and I shouldn't be this picky, but this is just how my rules go. And in my overall enjoyment of this match, I actually was okay with it. It was a middle-of-the-road Rumble for me. You know, I found that it had its moments. It was kind of entertaining for the most part, but it did little to spark my imagination. You know, I keep thinking maybe we should have the entrance coming out every 2 minutes, so then we actually have some action go on, rather than have just continuous eliminations, or continuous stalling for eliminations later on all the time. You know what I mean? And honestly, guys, there are some good things here, like Punk's DDT neckbreaker combo on Sandow and Rollins in the beginning was lovely, Rhodes and Sandow brawling was good story, I've already mentioned the entrances from all the guys I've mentioned, Kofi flying from the barricade, all good, but the most important pro of the entire night was this. Roman Reigns, with 12 eliminations, broke the record of Kane. We were all saying in the build-up, he was going to break the damn record, and he did. Could not be happier. The fact is, I say this all the time, you can lose a match, and you can come out of it looking stronger than ever. Roman Reigns is going to be on fire. He now has a record in the book that no one is going to take from him. No one. So you know what? I'm pleased for that. Honestly, I've said before already, the crowd just put a damper on the feel of the match. There wasn't enough true legends in there. I was looking forward for seeing Jake the Snake Roberts, but we never got it. And honestly, this is the biggest damper of them all. Batista, I am okay with you winning the Rumble match. I have no problems with it, but I would have been more happy with you winning if you actually made it worth something. Think about it. Last year, John Cena won the Rumble. It was predictable, but there was one redeeming quality. He entered at number 19 and fought his way through. That made it a million times better. That made a predictable finish worth something, because Cena actually had to fight. Batista just tore through a few people. Technically, his Rumble time prior to 2008 was shocking. And in fact, how his Rumble win from 2005, he was only in the ring for 9 minutes. I wouldn't be even more pressed if he was in that time here. Batista didn't look like he made an effort. The ending, from Punk's elimination to Roman Reigns and him in the ring, that just didn't feel long enough. It didn't feel like Batista actually worked his arse off for it, and it made it look like he walked to the victory. He walked like Mandela. He walked to victory in the long road. He walked it. And okay, if you got that bloody reference, I applaud you. But for the love of God, Batista, you made that look like it was fucking handed to you on a plate. You could have sold a few beatdowns. You could have sold Reigns more. You could have, sure, at the end of it you looked exhausted, but my God, it did not come across well on television, on stream, on anything on the bloody planet. It did not come across like I would have liked it to. And that really made me a little bit annoyed. I'm fine with Batista winning, because I have a feeling in my head he's not going to wait until WrestleMania. If WWE reacts to the crowd, to the bloody thing that's going on right now, Batista may give up his shot at Mania and join in a massive match between Orton, Brock Lesnar, and then some. You know, it may be a massive elimination chamber match. Batista forfeits his shot to go in because he wants his ability to go at people. We have Lesnar going in there. You know what I mean? I don't think Batista is going to Mania with that championship. Or that championship shot anyway. Which is a one saving grace. But the fact that he walked to this victory just made me sick. But that's really where the biggest worst point goes. The crowd nailed it on the head. We were all pissed, and honestly it works. You know, this match wasn't bad, but I'm going to have to give it a little... It was a middle of the road Rumble for me. It didn't have enough big entrance. It felt like it was no connection with the audience, and obviously because Daniel Bryan didn't go in, obviously it made sense. Overall, the match, I'm going to give 2 stars. I'm going to be quite generous here. I could have given it lower, but it was paced well, it had a good length. The crowd, for the most part, were okay with it, and the story being told in the match between some of these people was actually very, very good. I mean, Kane and Punk are now going forward. We've got the seeds of dissension between Cody and Goldust to look forward to. We have a great program with the Shield now coming in. I mean, overall, there's a lot of things I can smile about. And plus, Alexander Rusev making a name for himself. I mean, sure, he didn't do as well as Reigns did, but at least did something. Can't go wrong. So, guys, 2-star for me. And let's go on to my final thoughts then, shall we? The final thoughts of Cream Crazy Freddie Thomas here tonight. Now, this pay-per-view highlights one thing, if anything, and the WWE haven't done it tonight, that the crowd, the people who pay, the people who give you the money, the people who make you the company that you are today, need to be listened to. And while we did get a match that was superb, the ending and the night overall, apart from that, made us all feel like we were just treading on glass, waiting for everything to just fall onto us. That we were not making the direction, that our money wasn't doing anything for the company. And you know what? This pay-per-view minus one match, when you look at it, think, was it worth it? You know, the Royal Rumble is a pay-per-view that every year we all get excited about. And you know what? We were. But you look at it. We have a match which we'd seen 11 years ago that had one little bit of story and nothing else. We had a title match which was reduced to nothing and then some. And a Rumble match which went below expectations and, I again say, and then some. But the good thing is, the commentators were entertaining throughout the evening. They were on point with their matches. There was no Divas match. There was no Divas match. The Rumble got a decent amount of time. And we saw a tag team title change on the pre-show in what was a decent match. I mean, when I look at this night and say, while I did enjoy it, as a fan watching, there is no doubt, I actually kind of enjoyed this, but I enjoyed it for the wrong reasons. I enjoyed it because the crowd crapped on one whole match and a portion of one. I liked the fact that honestly, the crowd were one of the reasons why I enjoyed this, because they were saying, oh, fuck WWE. And you know what? I've got to quote Mick Foley here, because Mick Foley posted this tweet up, which you're seeing on your screen right now. You're looking at this tweet that says, do WWE actually hate their audience? I've never been more disgusted with a pay-per-view. I mean, that is everything. When I look at one match that gave me some real joy, the rest of the night just feels substandard. And while it was still okay, I mean, we got 1-0 and a quarter, but a Rumble match which was half decent can't rectify the mistakes. You know, Daniel Bryan is the biggest guy in the company, and okay, sure, he lost for good reason tonight, and I'm happy for him for that. But to see this event following that brilliant match turn into a farce, it really makes me a little sad. And you know, a 4.5 star and a 2-star match, what does that say about a pay-per-view with the other two basically stinking due to things that were out of its control? I don't really know. And honestly, I'm going to be the most generous reviewer that I can be, because those two matches that actually got good ratings saved the show. I'm going to give this a 3 out of 10, because even though we had a great match, I could not feel anything but disappointment coming out of this show. I enjoyed it for the wrong reasons. I was left flabbergasted that WWE went the most predictable way possible, and I was slightly depressed that even with a fantastic opening match, this pay-per-view just had the life sucked out of it, and the enthusiasm of me and my friends was sucked out of it as well. And that's just disappointing. You know, this pay-per-view every year isn't the biggest top-heavy show in terms of big things happening, and we've never seen a Royal Rumble pay-per-view, minus, I would say, 2000, get close to a pay-per-view of the year award. But come on, we deserved a little better. WWE, this isn't a cry from me, but it's a cry from everyone else. Elimination Chamber is your last shot. We are the people who drive your company forward. We are the ones, the fans who watch week in, week out. We are the ones who make your company stay afloat. Would you please give us a bone? For the love of God, because we are a pack of starving dogs who need something to gnaw on. Give us Elimination Chamber like you did last year and the year before. Give us a pay-per-view that will make us feel excited. Give us some unpredictability into the mix. Give us something that really could inspire us to actually give a crap. And I know I'm gonna give a crap because I'm going to WrestleMania. I'm going to Mania in New Orleans. I'm covering that shit for my channel in 5 straight days of videos. I do not care how it's all going to go down, because I'm going to enjoy it regardless. But I'm thinking about the people who are ordering on the network, your WWE network, the people who would still be ordering on pay-per-view, for those who are ordering from Sky Box Office, and for those who are streaming regardless, those who sit in anticipation every week, wondering what you're going to do to please them. Please, for the love of God, don't keep pleasing your wallet. Your wallet has a big enough ego. Just give us something. Give us some unpredictability, give us some swerves, give us a curveball or two. Give us a reason to care. Because I was happy that this WrestleMania up until tonight was unpredictable. And I had a reason to be pleased that I couldn't tell what WrestleMania they were going for. But looking at the seeds planted tonight, I'm, while okay with them, am not overall the most pleased person in the room. WWE, you've got a couple of weeks of Raw and SmackDowns, a pay-per-view, and then a few more weeks to give us a WrestleMania that we can be proud of. I don't care about the rumours circulating about one specific wrestler in particular, and actually a few other specific wrestlers in particular. Give us something we can cheer about. Give us something that the fans won't crap on you for. That's all I'm asking. As a fan who has watched you for the last 12 years and given a lot of my time to analyse you for. I may only be a 22-year-old in England, but I can tell you something. I know when the fans have had enough. And honestly, the rest of them, around the world, on Twitter, Facebook, YouTube, Bleacher Report, No DQ, even every other further reach from there, they are the ones who were going to be giving you the reception. I will be at WrestleMania giving you that reception. So you know what? Make us feel like we are the ones being given something good. Make us feel happy. Because even though this wasn't a really poor show, it still fell flat. Because you didn't listen to the fans. And you know what? I'm going out on a limb here. I'm going to predict it, the Elimination Chamber gets average of a 5 out of 10. How much you want to bet? I'm saying it right now. I'm okay with some of the matches you've got in store for us at the moment. I mean, we've got the Shield possibly going to a triple threat match at Mania. We've got Wyatt versus Cena. I am perfectly fine with that because that will tell a bloody good story. But what else have you got for me? What else? I want to know what you have up your sleeve. What are you going to give us that will make the fans who are not going to WrestleMania live, what can you give to them that will actually make it worth it? And guys, that is it. Because, honestly, if the Elimination Chamber doesn't give us something interesting, something non-predictable, something that we haven't thought out beforehand, that will give us some happiness, then I'm not sure how they're going to react. Because honestly, if Daniel Bryan doesn't make it to a big WrestleMania match of importance that either has the title involved or not, people are going to crap on your company. Seriously, listen to us. Because even though you may not respect all of our opinions, we are more powerful than you think. And I'm not voicing for a boycott here. I don't care. I would still watch regardless. But those out there who are disgruntled that you're not listening to us, listen to that crowd tonight. Those guys in that crowd, they gave you a clear message. Listen to it, respect it, and work on it. Because if you don't, we are going to be even more pissed coming into WrestleMania. And I'm not going to be, because I'll be marking out like hell, but the others. Orton BATISTA becomes the main event of this WrestleMania, they are going to crap on it. I can sense it, I can feel it, and you know what, I will feel it, because I'll be in the Superdome around all of that. So you know what? See if I care. See if the WWE's fans crap all over your WrestleMania plans. Because it looks like it's going to happen. If you don't do something about it, you're going to have, like last year's main event, people hating you for not listening. And sorry for that rant, guys. I was really wanting to just go off there. I just felt like it, you know. I've had to just speak for you guys, and I felt the need to. If you want to see more of my videos, click the subscribe button down below and like, because you know what? That makes me very, very happy that you guys like what I do. I have been Cream Crazy. You've been people listening, and this has been my Royal Rumble 2014 results and opinions video. And you know what? WrestleMania has gotten its road ready to go. We've turned the key in the ignition. but that engine hasn't been well oiled, and it's spluttering to get into gear. And you know what? The road hasn't been well paved either by the looks of it. So all I'm hoping is the Elimination Chamber pay-per-view can smooth those bumps out, repair that engine, and get that car rolling. That's all I'm hoping for. And guys, just before I go, please remember my WrestleMania schedule. It's coming up right after this. Cheers guys, see you next time, have a fantastic week, and boy oh boy, I'm going to have fun reading through all of the hate that is coming through Facebook and Twitter and YouTube right now. I'm going to be laughing my arse off for the rest of the damn evening. Cheers guys!